Death, while inevitable, is still shrouded in mystery. From ancient rituals to modern science, it remains one of the most enigmatic aspects of our existence. Today, we uncover 50 fascinating facts about death. Whether it's the biological processes or the cultural practices, each fact offers a glimpse into mortality. Remember, death is a natural part of life. By understanding it, we appreciate life itself.
One of the first signs of death is that a person's eyes cloud over as the body's functions cease and oxygen stops flowing to the eyeballs. This clouding can happen as quickly as 10 minutes after death. The cornea, which is normally clear, becomes opaque. Cells in the eyes break down, leading to a loss of transparency. Understanding this can help demystify death and provide closure to those left behind.
Many people who have had near-death experiences report feelings of peace, warmth, and bright lights.
Some interpret these experiences as evidence of an afterlife, while science suggests brain chemicals during trauma or oxygen deprivation. Endorphins can create euphoria, and oxygen deprivation can cause hallucinations. NDEs remain a subject of study and debate.
Rigor mortis is the stiffening of the body that occurs after death. This process begins within a few hours of death, as the chemical bonds in the muscles break down, causing them to contract and become fixed. The body remains in this rigid state for about 24 hours before the muscles begin to relax again as decomposition sets in. Understanding rigor mortis not only aids in forensic investigations, but also deepens our knowledge of the intricate processes that occur after death.
Chapter 4. Hair and nails don't actually keep growing. It might seem like hair and nails keep growing after death, but this is just an illusion. As the skin dehydrates, it shrinks back, revealing more hair and nail. This helps debunk myths and provides a clearer picture of the biological processes after life ends. Chapter 5. Decomposition speed. Decomposition depends on temperature, humidity, and insects. A buried body takes about 12 years to decompose. This can be accelerated or slowed by environmental conditions. High temperatures and humidity speed up decomposition.
Chapter 6. The Bog People. Peat bogs in Europe have unique properties that can preserve bodies for thousands of years. The acidic and low-oxygen environment prevents the growth of bacteria that normally decompose bodies. These bodies often retain their skin, hair, and even clothing, offering valuable insights into ancient cultures and practices. Studying bog bodies not only enriches our historical knowledge, but also demonstrates the remarkable ways in which natural environments can preserve human remains. Chapter 7. Frozen in Time. Mount Everest is nicknamed the Death Zone because of its harsh conditions. Climbers who die on Everest can become frozen landmarks, their bodies preserved for years. The extreme cold and low oxygen levels create a natural freezer, preventing the usual decomposition processes. These frozen bodies often serve as somber reminders of the mountain's dangers and the ultimate price some pay in their pursuit of adventure. The phenomenon of frozen bodies on Everest is a poignant intersection of natural forces and human ambition.
Chapter 8. Death by laughter. While uncommon, it is possible to die from laughing too hard. This is usually caused by an underlying medical condition, such as a heart condition or aneurysm, that is exacerbated by the exertion of laughing. The intense physical strain of laughter can trigger heart attacks, strokes, or asphyxiation in vulnerable individuals. The idea of laughing oneself to death highlights the complex relationship between emotions and physical health.
Chapter 9. Exploding body. A decomposing body in a closed casket can build up gas and pressure, causing it to explode. Hot weather accelerates decomposition and gas production. Gases like methane and carbon dioxide can create enough pressure to breach the casket. Understanding this helps prevent such occurrences and provides insights into post-mortem decay. Sometimes after death, the muscles in the larynx or voice box can contract and expel air, causing a sound like a groan or sigh. These post-mortem vocalizations occur because of the natural processes of gas buildup and muscle contractions in the body. While unsettling, they are a normal part of the decomposition process. Understanding post-mortem vocalizations can help demystify some of the eerie sounds associated with death.
While heartbreak is a metaphor for emotional pain, it can actually contribute to death, especially in older adults. The stress of a loved one's death can weaken the heart and make it more susceptible to problems. This condition, known as broken heart syndrome or stress-induced cardiomyopathy, can result in severe heart muscle weakness. The link between emotional stress and physical health is a powerful reminder of the mind-body connection.
According to ancient Chinese medical texts, there was a practice of embalming bodies in honey. People would supposedly eat honey, drink honey, and bathe in honey until their bodies were saturated. Then, they would be entombed in honey for 1,000 years to create a human honey concoction for medicinal purposes. While there's no scientific evidence to support this practice, it highlights the unique ways different cultures have approached death and preservation.
People have been known to survive for long periods without food or water, driven by the will to live. A woman in a coma survived for 11 years without food or fluids, sustained by nutrients administered through a tube. The will to live can be a critical factor in survival, influencing both physiological and psychological states. Instances of extraordinary survival highlight the complex interplay between the mind and body. The determination to live, even in the face of overwhelming odds, can drive individuals to achieve seemingly impossible feats.
The sardonic smile is a rare facial expression caused by rigor mortis affecting the muscles around the mouth. It can look like a creepy grin, but it has no connection to the person's emotional state at the time of death. This phenomenon occurs because the muscles contract in a way that pulls the lips into a smile-like position. Understanding the sardonic smile helps dispel some of the myths and fears associated with post-mortem changes.
Necromancy is the practice of attempting to communicate with the dead. It has been practiced in many cultures throughout history, with various rituals and techniques associated with it. From ancient shamans to modern spiritualists, people have sought ways to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. Whether viewed as a spiritual practice or a cultural curiosity, necromancy offers insights into the ways humans have grappled with the mysteries of death and the possibility of an afterlife.
The Fore people of Papua New Guinea used to practice a form of cannibalism called endocannibalism, in which they would eat deceased relatives as a sign of respect and to absorb their spirit. This practice, however, led to the spread of a fatal disease called kuru. Kuru is a prion disease that affects the brain and nervous system, causing tremors, loss of coordination, and eventually death. The story of the Fore people and kuru highlights the complex interplay between cultural practices and health. The Toraja people of Indonesia practice mamatene, keeping deceased loved ones in their homes for months or years. They treat the deceased as living, offering food, drink, and conversations. This reflects their beliefs about death and the afterlife. Mamatene offers insight into cultural approaches to death and mourning.
The Dance of Death, or Dance Macabre, depicts death leading people of all social classes to the grave. This theme was popular during the Middle Ages, reflecting the impact of the Black Death. It served as a reminder that death comes for everyone, regardless of status. Understanding this allegory provides insights into the medieval mindset and coping mechanisms. Death masks are wax or plaster casts made of a person's face after they have died. They were used in ancient Egypt and Rome and became popular in Europe during the Renaissance. Death masks served various purposes, from commemorating the deceased to aiding in the creation of portraits and sculptures. The tradition of making death masks reflects the human desire to remember and honor the dead.
The Death Clock is a website that estimates your date of death based on your age, gender, and lifestyle. While it's not scientifically accurate, it can be a fun way to think about your mortality. The Death Clock uses statistical data to make its predictions, offering a lighthearted yet thought-provoking look at the finite nature of life. By contemplating our mortality, we can gain a greater appreciation for the present moment and the people we share it with.
Death is a natural part of life, and while it can be a difficult topic to discuss, it's important to understand and appreciate the many ways it impacts our world. From the biological processes that occur after death to the cultural practices surrounding it, death is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon. By exploring